And to push the pests out of town, they need more than a rolled up newspaper. Then wound up here, knocking out this wall with the bus's front two wheels hanging over the ledge. What sort of meals should be on kids' plates? But on the flip side, some daycares are counting the cash and say the city's plans come with a hefty price tag. The driver then reportedly reached into the back seat, grabbed the teen's cell phone, and chucked it out the window. Take a look at the fine print. Whoa. The fine print says accuracy was established at a blood alcohol concentration of 0.032. Brian, those 5 people are fighting for their lives right now here at St. Al's. State troopers tell me most are in critical condition. You got $1, lady? Fine to say that, but it's not legal to block someone's path. Neither is intimidation. Okay, I want to go over here and grab her husband, the co-captain of this team, Randy Lewis. You're all decked out too, and that was the deal last year, wasn't it?
Oh no, this is just natural. This is what I wear all the time.
Just around the house and to work?
Absolutely.
It was not a little guy. I'm going to hand one end of this tape measure to Patrick Daly behind the camera to give you some perspective of just how long this boa constrictor stretches. It comes in at 9 feet. When the crow lands, it gets a little jolt. Neighbors say the registered sex offender went door to door in this subdivision when plenty of children were outside.
This is an area that is full of opportunities for someone if they were to look for targets.
The man knocked on Wallace Maxwell's door, then asked, "Are you a Christian?"
Immediately, your radar goes up a little bit.
Through a Facebook post, the father of 4 learned the man's identity.
When I see the term violent sexual predator, really my stomach turns.
Scott CADMAN was convicted twice in Oregon for sexual abuse of a child. Maxwell says it was CADMAN who knocked on his door. So I went to CADMAN's registered address in Boise. He came out and told me he's been going door to door for nearly 2 years to share his Christian message. The man I spoke with earlier said you didn't have any literature or paper when you approached his door. Is that your standard practice?
I have papers with me at all times. In fact, before you leave, I'll give you copies.
The 56-year-old registered sex offender later showed me those papers, which do have his name, number, and email. Does it make sense that neighbors would have some concerns given your past?
Remember, I've lived in Idaho now for 9 years and haven't been arrested for anything.
That's true based on court records, but it's little solace for parents, including Maxwell, who has 3 young kids.
And here lately, we've been letting him play out front. I don't feel comfortable letting them do that anymore.
Obviously, if a person's really that concerned about who's walking through his neighborhood, he ought to move to a gated community.
Maxwell isn't going that far, but he has tightened up security at his home. His kids now play in the backyard under lock and key. A neighbor tells me he spotted this guy at the end of that cul-de-sac last night as he tried to get into someone's yard. But the prowler got away, and people in this area say they're freaked out. In a handful of Northeast Meridian neighborhoods, windows have been a peeper's target for a few months now. But police worry the situation is now escalating with a few close calls last night.
It freaks me out. Like, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, you know?
Officers say most of the sightings have come from this area, from Meridian Road to Locust Grove, south of Ustick.
This is the guy's house, the yard he was trying to get into.
Gary HAGWOOD says he set eyes on the prowler last night around midnight, but his dog scared the guy off.
Usually when they're dressed in black with a hoodie, it's kind of easy to tell. I mean, he was probably up to no good.
Police say the prowler's been peeping through windows and even creeping through backyards. But the problem has gotten worse. Last night, police say he rattled a back door trying to get in. The same night,
homeowner walked into a room and saw the individual standing in the room by a kitchen table. I went to call police. The suspect ran out of the house.
He had come in through an open door, so neighbors are locking up.
On my sliding doors, I'm putting sticks in there so they cannot be open, any sliding windows that I have.
Meridian police say they've been patrolling the area more heavily, but haven't been in the right spot at the right time. Investigators have a pretty vague description of the prowler. They say he's within a few inches of 6 feet and he's skinny. He typically dresses in dark clothing and covers his face with a bandana. Now, police say the only way they'll catch this guy is if someone gives them a call as soon as they spot him. Neighbors fear the snake would slither into their yards or garages.
There's a 9-foot boa constrictor on the loose and hasn't eaten in 3 weeks.
This 9-foot Colombian boa constrictor eluded the owner, his roommates, and officers.
Cage was broken. Snake was gone. We looked around in the garage and it wasn't there.
Stephen Matkins says the snake can get about this wide. Its name is Trinity. His roommate, who owns the boa, reported her escape to police on Saturday. And you have no idea where this thing could be?
That could be anywhere. And I don't think we're going to find it.
Shortly after I sat down with Matkins, he showed me the snake's enclosure. And sure enough, we found Trinity.
Your snake is in the garage, dude. I'm dead serious. It's like staring at me right now.
She's a sweetheart.
Ron Withrow says he's had the boa 8 years.
I wouldn't want it to eat my pet. They can do some damage when they're hungry.
Withrow says it's the first time Trinity has gone missing.
She's a snake. Snakes escape all the time.
Found just feet from her cage, it's hard to tell whether Trinity ever strayed far from her home. Ron Withrow has turned the enclosure around so that hole is up against the wall. He says that's just temporary until he can fix it for good. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Locklear filling in for Brian. A small plane crashed onto a Florida beach this afternoon, as you can see here. Those on board the plane are okay. Investigators blame ashes for igniting another fire that badly damaged 2 homes in Boise. Turning to fire season, crews have been putting out hot spots and mopping up today after a wildfire that led to evacuations near Horseshoe Bend. Firefighters worked through the night digging lines to control the dump fire.
Another claim to fame for Buzz.
What a funny guy. On the topic of space, but a bit closer to home, researchers hope to unlock secrets about Mars from a study at Craters of the Moon National Monument. And still pretty warm if you notice in the bottom of your screen. 89 degrees right now?
Yes.
A frightening scene there, but not so much weather-wise. Denny, what you got for us? It's the first time that's happened since October of 2000, and the last time it will happen until 2049. I had the heads up, so I took a look.
I didn't know, but now I'm going to have to wait quite a while.
I guess I'll see it in 2049.
We'll see you back here at 10.